Hello students, welcome to your English class. This is your English teacher Neelam Bajaj. Today we are continuing the same chapter, the third level written by Jack Finney for class 12th. Till now we have read that in this story that it is a blend of fiction and reality. It tells us about a man's wish to escape from the harsh realities of present life. Here in this story, Charlie, the protagonist or the main character of the story, claims to reach to the third level of Grand Central Station. However, in reality, there are only two levels. So, till now, we have read that he is trying to reach to his home, to his wife, and what happens to him at Grand Central Station at New York. Now, we are coming to the next paragraph of the chapter. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level, where you take trains like the 20th century. He is telling his way from where he is going. Then I walked down another flight to the second level. Now he is going to the second level of the station where the suburban trains leave from. Ducked into an arched doorway. Arched, you know, the half circle shape. So that train goes from that arched doorway heading for the subway and got lost. That is easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times. He means to say that he used to come here many times every day, but I'm always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. This is a surprising matter for him that every time when he comes here, although he has been coming here since many years, but every time when he comes here, he is finding new doorways and stairs and corridors. So, through this, we can conclude that Grand Central Station is very big and not easy to understand where you are going. Once I got into a tunnel, he is telling his problem after reaching there that sometimes he reached to the wrong places. Once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. He entered a tunnel in the station, and when he came out, he was in a hotel. Another time I came up in an office building on 46th Street. He is telling his experiences after reaching Grand Central Station. Whenever he enters any tunnel, he comes out at some other place outside the station. 3 blocks away it was from the station, that building, office building. Now, next paragraph. Sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree. He is comparing here Grand Central Station to a big tree which continues growing and which expands its roots as well as branches always. So, sometimes I think Grand Central Station is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. As roots of the tree grow, the same way Grand Central Station, according to him, is growing every day. There is probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about, feeling its way under the city right now. He is just telling his imagination that there is probably perhaps a long tunnel inside the Grand Central Station which takes its way under the city on its way to Times Square. Times Square is a place in New York, and maybe another to Central Park. He means to say that that tunnel can open up to Times Square also and to Central Park also. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit. It's a medium to go out, a way of escape. So he is here mixing both the feelings, escaping physically and escaping mentally from the problems and worries of life. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into. That is how he got into the tunnel, to escape from the harsh realities of life. Now he is introducing his entrance to the third level in the next paragraph, where he is trying to say that maybe I wanted to escape from the problems of the life, so I felt myself entering to the third level, which was never been there. A way to escape, maybe that's how the tunnel I got into, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. We have read that his psychiatrist friend's name was Sam, and he was telling him his experience, how he reached to the third level, but he did not said this thing, how and what he feels. The corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downwards. It was going to the left and then going downwards, and I thought that was wrong. He thought it is the wrong way I am going to, but I kept on walking. And I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps, and I did not pass a soul. He further says that he did not pass a single person when he was going through that way, and only he could hear was the sound of his own footsteps. Then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead, that means open space and people talking. So after some time he heard some roar of people talking together, and he took out the idea that he has reached to the end of the tunnel. The tunnel turned sharp left. I went down a short flight of stairs and came out on the third level at Grand Central Station. Now he is talking about third level, which was never been there, and he reached there in his imagination. For just a moment I thought I was back on the second level. He did not know till then that there was a third level, so he thought he reached to a second level. But I saw the room was smaller. He saw something different which was not present there in the second level. He saw the room of that place was smaller. There were fewer window tickets and train gates. In comparison to second level, there were less window tickets and train gates. And the information booth in the center was wood. It was made of wood and old looking. And the man in the booth who was sitting inside the booth wore a green eye shade, green spectacles and long black sleeve protectors, blazer, coat he was wearing. The lights were dim and sort of flickering. He found that the lights were not sufficient. They were dim and flickering. Then I saw why. Then he realized why the lights are so dim. They were open flame gas lights. They were not like present day modern lights. They were gas lights, as we can imagine about the olden times. So all these things, when he found, he was thinking where I have reached. Now in the further paragraph, what we see, there were brass spittoons on the floor. Spittoons are the kind of boxes, kind of drums in which people used to spit. And across the station, a glint of light caught my eye. At far off place across the station, he was feeling a glint of light there. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. Then he saw another scene, the people present there. He saw, like in olden times, people used to put their watches in their waistcoats. The same way, the man present on the station was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. He snapped open the cover of the watch, glanced at his watch and frowned, made a face. He wore a derby hat. Now, Charlie is describing the appearance of that man, how he looked, glanced at his watch and frowned, and he wore a derby hat, a black 4-button suit with tiny lapels, tiny folds on the suit. He is explaining what kind of suit he was wearing. That was also of the olden types. And he had a big black handlebar mustache. The type of his mustache was also different from the modern times. Handlebar means sharp mustaches. Then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 1890 something. He realized that everyone was dressing like the olden times, 1890, 19th century. I never saw so many beards, sideburns. Sideburns is a kind of haircut near the face, and fancy mustaches in my life. A woman walked in through the train gate. She wore a dress with leg of mutton sleeves. Now he is explaining a woman how she was dressing. She wore a mutton sleeve dress, the olden kind of puffed sleeves, and skirts to the top of her high buttoned shoes. Back of her, out on the tracks, I caught a glimpse of a locomotive, an engine, a very small courier, an Avis locomotive with a funnel shaped stack, chimney. Funnel, it has a funnel shaped chimney, and then I knew this last line is telling us that then he realized he has reached 100 years back. He realized, after looking everything, he realized that he is not in the present time. He reached 100 years back through the time travel to make sure, to make his thinking sure that he is right, that he has reached to the third level, he has reached 100 years back. What he did, I walked over to a newsboy. He walked over to a newspaper boy and he wanted to confirm the date of that day when he was standing there, that where he has reached, and through the newspaper he could easily confirm. So he walked over to a newsboy and glanced at the stack of papers at his feet. A pile of papers, a bundle of papers he saw which were lying near the feet of the newsboy. It was The World, the name of the newspaper, The World. And The World, has it been published for years now? He was thinking that it has not been publishing for many years. It was an olden newspaper. The lead story said something about President Cleveland. That is also 100 years back thing. I have found that front page since in the public library files, and it was printed June 11, 1894. And when he saw the front page of the newspaper, what he found? He already had seen that page in the public library files, so he confirmed that the date which was written on that newspaper was 11th June 1894, a 100 years back date. I turned toward the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central I could buy tickets that would take Louisa and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. Then, after looking to all these things, he decided to buy two tickets, one for himself, one for his wife, so that he could go anywhere in United States easily. He was finding it easy to go now, to go anywhere in the United States, as it would be less costly. So he decided to buy two tickets in the year 1894, and I wanted two tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. Another reason for buying the ticket was he wanted to see all the places of United States, how they looked like 100 years back. So he wanted to buy two tickets for Galesburg, Illinois. Have you ever been there? Now he is asking the readers this question. Have you ever been there? It's a wonderful town still, with big old frame houses. It's an olden kind of town till now, in the modern times also. Huge lawns with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roofs the streets. Now he is explaining the scenario of that town, that there are tremendous, very big trees there whose branches meet from the opposite sides and make like a roof on the street. And in 1894, summer evenings were twice as long and people sat out on their lawns. Now he is explaining the scene of the 1894, when he found people free from worries and tensions and everyday hustle bustle, and they were sitting quietly enjoying their free time in the summer evenings. The women waving palm leaf fans with the fireflies all around. Fireflies, the flies which shine in a peaceful world. That world was peaceful for him. To be back there with the First World War still 20 years off. Now he is thinking that still there is 20 years time left to start the First World War, and World War II over 40 years in the future, and another World War which was going to be started after 40 years from the time he was standing there. I wanted two tickets for that. So he decided to buy two tickets for going to various places of United States after thinking about all that things, and he was very happy to reach there. Now further, what happened in the story we will come to know in the next part of the chapter. Till then, thank you, be safe, take care.